I just saw Obsession. It scared the shit out of me. It was a great movie. People are talking about it everywhere, and they should because it's great. But I think they're missing what this movie is actually about, in my opinion. Everything I'm seeing tends to point to the direction of people putting it in the context of this movie being about either toxic male entitlement or what happens when the patriarchy runs wild. Obviously, you can point to different times in history where those things have been a real problem. That's not what this movie is about, in my opinion. I think what you see in this movie is on the surface, and what lies underneath, what I think this movie is actually about, is way more fucking terrifying. First, though, let me clarify that Nikki, I think for sure, is the victim, right? She's had her willpower taken away. Something's happened to where her mind or her body are not in control of what's happening. If you don't know the plot of the movie, but you're watching this, a guy's in love with a woman. She doesn't return his love, I think. He buys this little joke store novelty thing for $3 or $5, and he wishes that she would like him. That somehow works. It turns into a big fucking nightmare of a crazy thing, and that's pretty much the movie. She's definitely the victim, right? Absolutely. Bear is also a victim in a different way, and let me explain why. He would only be a monster if he thought that this $5 novelty wish box thing was actually going to work, which he doesn't. Nobody does. Nobody in their right mind would think that this is going to work. Is it a mistake to do it? Yeah. But if there were other people in the car with him when he made this wish, nobody would have said anything. They would have just laughed, maybe, or they would have just blown it off or not taken it seriously, because nobody would expect it to work. If he thought it was going to work, that would make him a monster. But he doesn't, right? And in fact, if anybody in that car was with him and they did have a problem with it, people would be looking at him like, God, what's their problem? Jeez. So, it wasn't an innocent game that Bear was playing, I guess, but it's not some sort of premeditated crime like he drugged her or anything like that. He didn't think it was going to work. My second thing I want to say about this, and this isn't justified even if he did intend it, but how many people on the planet do you think, what's the percentage of people who all the time, or at least several times in their life, have wanted people to do things that they want them to do? You know what I mean? Like, that's all politics is now, like culture, politics, all these debates. People all the time are wishing that people would vote how they wanted them to act how they wanted them to be who they wanted them to. It's happening all the time. People are wanting them to be loved unconditionally all the time. It's not that atypical for people to do it. I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying that it's happening everywhere. And to focus on this because of what happened is crazy. There's no way that the punishment fits the crime in this case, if you want to call it a crime. So I wonder a little bit if the reason people are staying on the surface and talking about Bear and what he did and staying up there because they don't want to go deeper into what I think is really the terror here, what's at the heart of the movie, what this movie is actually about. Clearly it's disturbing what happens here, and we can go through all the different metaphors that this might be about. But to me, the true terror here is how one careless little mistake, one little curiosity poke into the universe, and everything goes fucking wrong. That's the terrifying thing. That you could be living your life, everything is fine, and you make one little turn, one little decision, a novelty joke box, wish box that you wish this thing, you throw a penny into a fountain. How many pennies are in fountains at the malls across America, or at least that used to be pennies in fountains. What about all those wishes, right? One little thing, you flip a penny, you wish on a wish box, and that happens, get the fuck out of here. But it's not just about that, is it? It's about, it might be something that you say to someone. It might be a decision you make. You could be driving, you look at your phone, accident, boom, everything changes. You could say something to the wrong person on an elevator. You could drink the wrong drink. You could take the wrong step and step down a manhole cover, or a manhole when the cover's not there. Whatever it is, anything could happen. You could interact with someone who's you know, a genuine terror. And that could change everything. Somebody could get a phone call. The phone call about, I'm so and sorry, are you so and so? This is Sergeant whoever. I'm sorry to tell you, but you've lost anything. 1 minute, everything's fine. The next minute, everything's gone wrong. That's the terror. And that's what I think this movie is about. The decisions we make, the other side of them waiting for us, could be a complete fucking nightmare. The unpredictability, the unknown. You know, there were times where, you know, in the movie, she would move in a really fucked up way, you know, like a David Lynch Twin Peaks backwards kind of thing, and it was quick and it was alarming. It's what's happening that's scary, right? But that it represents the unknown, the unpredictability of it. And that's what this whole movie is about to me. You know, the unpredictability, the unknown, the way people behave when they don't really think about what they're going to do, or they don't think they're actually going to be powers. You know, what other movies where they do a seance? Is that The Gate where they do that? The Stephen Dorff picture way back in the 80s where you do a seance and you summon the wrong things. It's happened in movies before, right? But great movie. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really scary. I'm not a big horror person, and you know, I thought it was done really well. This is going to be a weird thing, but I really loved the ending where it scrolled down to the TV and the TV credits rolled. I thought that was really brilliant. You know, the other thing was thinking about that idea of the terror being just a split second or the other side of a quick decision, maybe a bad decision, is just how life changes. And the other thing that was really impactful, I thought, was when the real Nikki wakes up. Because when you, apparently, since these things work, you make a wish, whatever happens, happens. And then when the person who made the wish dies, that wish goes away. So when Bear dies, the real Nikki wakes back up, and she's waking up into a horror of these two friends. One of them she had been boning for 1.5 years secretly, and then Bear are dead in her living room. And all this messed up shit, you know, on her with like all the stuff everywhere. That's also, it's like a reverse of what we're talking about, you know, also waking up into a nightmarish hellscape. So let me know what you think. I would be interested to hear what you think of the theory that I have. Maybe people have already thought of this. I'm sure they probably have, but that's what hit me most. But if you think that what we're seeing is what it's about, I'm open to it. I just don't think that's it. But I'd love to hear about it. Let me hear in the comments below. And yeah, Obsession. Next up, The Backrooms. We'll get to that one. But man, I'm going to be thinking about Obsession for a while. I don't think I'm going to see it again. I'm not a big horror person, and I don't tend to rewatch things unless it's Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street. For some reason, those classics I will rewatch. Evil Dead, another one. But anyway, Obsession.